This was almost us. They have this boat and they just left it here. It's crazy. Wow. Wow, they even have the cushion still in there. Wow. This was almost us. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are getting down to business. And when I mean getting down to business, I mean we are moving this boat. We have bought this boat as is, where is, and we have never moved it or seen it be moved. So we have to move it to a different mooring ball. Currently at this marina, the previous owner moored it illegally, so we called trying to rectify everything, get the permits, and she said that the current mooring ball that we're at isn't really safe, which is crazy because we've been here, so we have to move it. So we are gassed up and we've been slowly bringing like 5 gallons of gas every time we come, and we should be good. So I'm a little nervous because this is the first time that we've done this, moved it at all. Seth has done some stuff with boats prior, I have not. So I'm gonna be kind of the lookout person and unhooking and hooking the mooring ball. So we are going to do something pretty crazy today, and it's a different day because every time we come here we've been putzing around doing different projects, and today's the first day we're like moving the boat, turning on the engine, like actually like sailing sort of. So all right, I guess the only thing we can do is get started. So my job is going to be to stand at the front of the boat and hook the mooring and unhook the mooring. And I told Seth before we left, I said I think most people have like a hook, and I don't think we have a hook. So I finished work for the day and we got in the car and he showed me this hook that he made out of, it's so genius, out of a old like paint, like this is a roller, a paint roller. So just took off the roller and then he attached it to my broom handle. So I now no longer have a broom. Sacrifices, he said, had to be made. So I no longer have a broom, but now we have this hook, which is perfect because I'm gonna have to hook the mooring ball on and off. So I don't know, I'm a little nervous. I feel like I have a little bit of jitters because I've never done this before. I'm not super like confident in my skills. I'm confident in Seth's skills, but not my own. So we're gonna get going and we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna have to crawl up here to get this unhooked. I'm not sure I'm gonna unhook it actually with the pole, but at least I can maybe use the pole to bring it closer. A little nervous about that part, but that's kind of what we're gonna do over here. Okay, so Seth just hooked up our dinghy to the back, and then he's getting this ready. We don't have an actual steering wheel. We have the, is this called tiller? Yep. We have the tiller. So we are gonna use this to sail, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh, you're bringing this closer to the ball, smart. Oh yeah, much closer, that'll be much easier to get to. Is that on?
Nope.
Great, fuel up, let's go. Oh, and did that stop?
Yep.
Tough. Oh my goodness. I'm so nervous. Alright, so we cut to this part of the video because it's a little bit of story time for you right now. And I wish I would have had some pictures or videos to share with you. We were obviously moving the boat to the new mooring ball, and I forgot to hit the GoPro on. So we didn't get any of it on film, and then it was getting to be too crazy of a story to even go grab the camera and begin filming because we had so much stuff happening. So we unhooked the clip from the boat and the lines from the mooring ball, and we began our journey motoring around the mooring field. I was a little bit nervous because there's so many boats, it's new, and we were trying to navigate, and we were doing a great job. We were navigating well, we were approaching the ball, but we were kind of at the wrong angle to get the ball. So we decided to do a second loop and try to approach it from a different angle so that we could be more successful and just clipping it up and getting it just hooked in like the best, most efficient way. So we were about, I would say, 50 yards away from our new mooring ball that we were trying to hook up to, and the engine cut out completely. So I'm gonna kick it over to Seth to tell you what happened, because boy oh boy did my heart drop when I turned around, looked at him and said, what's happening? And he just said, the engine cut out. My heart literally went from my chest into my toe, if not just completely like escaped from my body.
So like Natalia said, we missed the ball on the first time around. There's that island that, if you've watched our previous video, Natalia walked the what she called trash island. So that's right behind us, and the wind is blowing across towards that island. And so we're one row up, so it's hard to get back around from the backside to hook to the mooring ball. So what I tried to do the first time, which was a mistake, which was try to turn around in a tight spot, and I wasn't able to do that because of the way the wind was going, and it was just going to be too tight. So in the middle of doing that, I just decided to bail, and we were just going to go out and then loop back around to try to get it from a better angle, and that way we had more maneuverability and more space. So as we did that, we looped back around. As we were on our way back, the engine died. I believe it's because it overheated because something went wrong with the cooling pump, or the cooling pump wasn't working or something like that. I wasn't sure at the time, but that's what I think happened. And so with no power, the wind was pushing us towards land and towards that island, and there are some boats around here that have hit the shore or have been grounded over time near the island or on the shore. So we didn't want to end up being one of those boats. So my first thought was to drop anchor, but we were already kind of drifting towards a big older fishing vessel. So we were slowly drifting kind of towards it, and the wind was kind of pushing us towards land, but also kind of towards this old fishing boat. So we were able to just grab one of our lines and tie off to that boat just to stop us from going and drifting into the shore.
So this is the boat that we actually buddy boated with and hooked up to the mooring ball. Super nice guy, and we're really grateful that he was no big deal about it. Okay, so after we tied up, I was still extremely nervous. I wasn't really thinking rationally, so although Seth mentioned that the wind was pushing us closer to the island, in my head we were propelling forward. So there was a huge, super expensive, multi-million-dollar catamaran in front of us that I felt like we were gonna be going towards straight into. So that was my biggest fear, of ruining someone else's property. We have liability insurance, but the last thing you wanna do is get a boat and have to use that card right away. And this is the boat that I thought we were going to run into when we were in that situation, because I thought we were drifting forward and gonna hit this boat, which would have been pretty rough because that's a really nice boat. I also thought it would be a great idea if Seth could get in the back and steer us as we were going forward to navigate us towards the ball. However, we obviously weren't going forwards, we were going backwards. So at that time, we were navigating towards that boat and kind of going off to the side where that boat was, and that is where we threw the line over. So at that point, I was still super nervous, because now you have two large boats attached to one mooring ball, and you don't know how to get out of the situation because you need a motor. So I was at the front of the boat at this point, and I realized that there was a dinghy coming, and I locked eyes with them, and they made an A-line right towards us. So at that point, I knew they were coming to help. So they came over, super helpful, and they actually took their dinghy with a good motor, got one of their buddies, and they were able to attach the dinghy to the back of our boat and push us the last 50 yards we needed to our mooring ball. It was honestly nothing short of a miracle, because we really needed that support. And this is our newest little buddy. He was the one who got in his dinghy and brought us back to the mooring ball that we are at right now. So our neighbor, super helpful, and really grateful for him.
So then we were able to tie up to the mooring ball. The crisis was averted. Looking back on the situation, I think we handled that pretty well. Obviously, we weren't expecting anything crazy to happen. All we were doing was moving just from a couple rows over from that other mooring ball to the ball that we're at right now. So obviously we thought it was going to be super easy, super quick. We weren't expecting any dramas, but definitely not a spot where you want to lose engine power when we did. Fortunately, it worked out, and we handled it well on just being able to tie up to that other boat real quick while somebody else helped us. So that came in clutch. The day after, we got a mechanic out here to take a look at the engine to see kind of what was wrong and what happened. So he took a look at it. He thinks it's the water cooling pump, so he took that off, as well as our starter wasn't great, so he took the starter off as well. So we're gonna replace those two parts for sure, and he's gonna run some other checks just to make sure the engine's all good. It's a super old engine, so it's not a surprise to us that there's some stuff that needs to be fixed on it. So we just want to make sure that that's all good to go, especially for the next time that we want to move the boat. We don't have any issues with it.
So major relief, and really glad that that ended out as well as it did, because obviously it was the worst case scenario that we could have experienced for the first time taking the boat and moving it. So luckily it all worked out well. We did get a safety inspection done by the state and we passed. So we just gotta kind of fine tune the engine, get it working, and then we'll be good to go. So thank you so much for watching this video. We wish that we would have had so much more on film, but in the moment when your heart isn't even in your body anymore because it just drops, you don't even have a working brain at that point. You're just in crisis aversion mode. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, subscribe, like this video, and we'll see you next week on See Our World. See ya. So I made this banana bread for the guy that helped us with the boat, and I even wrote thank you on it. I think I'm gonna have to make up something else because this looks horrible. The sun just melted all the chips, so I can't give him this because this looks like garbage.